We had been living with Vera for 6 years when our daughter, Anyuta, was born. I was filled with joy, finally becoming a father, and my wife shared in the happiness. However, our joy was short-lived as Agnieszka frequently fell ill. We tirelessly visited hospitals and private clinics, searching for the cause of her illness. During her latest bout of sickness, the doctor suggested a possible need for a blood transfusion and immediately took tests in the emergency room. After a long wait, the doctor delivered the results in a dry tone. Leukocytes are elevated, but the formula is fine. Red blood cells are few, hemoglobin is low, hematocrit as well, blood type 2. Interrupting, I expressed my confusion. That's strange. Both my wife and I have blood type 1. It is not natural for it to be any different. Perhaps there has been a mistake. I glanced at Vera, and she initially flushed like a candle before growing pale and sliding down the wall to the floor. Sensing her distress, my wife calmly said, "I just need some fresh air for a few minutes. I'll be back." She then made her way towards the exit, leaving me alone. As our baby was taken away for an ultrasound, I couldn't help but offer my support to my beloved. In the glow of the night lanterns, she appeared even paler, resembling a fragile porcelain doll. The only sign of vitality was the tears streaming down her cheeks. "Darling, we have the strongest girl in the world. She will overcome this. She's a fighter, and together, we can conquer anything." I reassured her, hoping to mask my own anxiety. Vera clung to my chest, silently sobbing. "Valera, my dear, I'm sorry," she wept, repeating the same broken phrase like a malfunctioning record. After a few minutes, she regained her composure, and the hysteria subsided, giving way to a calm retelling that divided our lives into before and after. I struggled to find the right words. We were mistaken, truly. I was mistaken. Remember, last summer we celebrated the firm's anniversary at Fadiva Ira's countryside retreat. You mentioned not feeling well and grew bored conversing with those snobbish individuals in suits. We had a lengthy argument. I became infuriated and stormed off alone. You were not there. Everyone was in pairs, so I drowned my loneliness in wine. When the wine ran dry, I turned to cognac and perhaps had one too many. The next thing I recall is entering the house to freshen up and catch my breath. It seems I was planning to call a cab and head home. My head was spinning terribly. I stumbled continuously, and my shoes were caked in mud. Then I collapsed, the last image in my memory being Oleg from the neighboring department, handing the cab driver the address, slipping in the payment, and slamming the door shut. Slowly, I regained my senses, entered the apartment, and you were already fast asleep. I went to the shower to cleanse the smell of alcohol and cigarettes, only to discover that my skirt was on backwards and I was not wearing any underwear, she recounted. At this point, her gaze faded into darkness, and tears welled up once again. I had a suspicion that he could be capable of such behavior. Rumors circulated about his disregard for boundaries. Well, beyond that, she could no longer speak as a bout of vomiting interrupted her monologue. However, I reached my limit. The words coming out of her mouth became a blur, and a lump formed in my throat, making it difficult to breathe. It was in that moment that I truly understood how quickly loneliness had enveloped me. I had lost both my wife and daughter, yet somehow I endured each day, solely for the sake of my daughter, or rather the girl I had loved as if she were my own. The pain of the betrayal I had experienced was overwhelming. I couldn't bring myself to take Vera and the baby home from the hospital. The sheer weight of the deceit was too much to bear. The truth was Oleg had indeed slept with my wife. I couldn't bring myself to forgive such a profound betrayal. Despite attempting to continue living together for another month, it was pure torture for me. We ultimately decided it was better to divorce and spare each other further pain. Vera conducted a paternity test, as Oleg persistently denied the truth. The facts were undeniable. His fiancée, once just a girl a year ago, was waiting for him at home. The results of the test came as no surprise to anyone, except perhaps for Oleg's bride-to-be. Understandably, she couldn't forgive him for such a grave mistake, especially one that involved a child. As far as I know, Oleg and Vera are attempting to salvage their relationship. He is trying to assume the role of a father, legally acknowledging the child as his own. But fully integrating our fractured family remains an ongoing struggle. You may wonder, what happened to me? Well, I am still grappling with why fate has dealt me such a cruel hand. However, one thing has become abundantly clear to me. A person under the influence of alcohol is not in control of their own body.